ॐ श्री परमात्मने नमः अथ षोडशोऽध्यायः. In this chapter, Bhagavan Sri Krishna is telling about many Daiva Sampad, that is good values, and Asuri Sampad, bad values. And in the last few shlokas, he said that how the people who have these demonical values, Asuri nature, how do they conduct life, how do they live? And he said that such people, they take birth in the Asuri Yoni, in their next birth also. So after taking that birth, what will be their life? Bhagavan Sri Krishna is telling from this shloka, that is from shloka 20. आसुरीं योनिमापन्नाः मूढा जन्मनि जन्मनि मामप्राप्यैव कौन्तेय ततो यान्त्यधमां गतिम्. Bhagavan Sri Krishna says that having taken birth in the Asuri Yoni, they do not appropriate, they do not attain me. Then what will happen to them? These mudaha, Janmani, Janmani, birth after birth, they take birth in the Asuri Yoni itself. That is the people who are very cruel in this lifetime, killing others for money or disturbing others, torturing others. Some people torture others physically, but what is more worse is torturing others mentally, with emotional torture. We see that even in families, emotional torture, what will happen to them? They take such cruel births only. Maybe birth as a cruel animal. And after that also, they will not get this human birth. They go lower and lower, degrading births they will get. That is what Bhagavan is telling. Janmani, Janmani, they take repeated births in Asuri Yoni, and each time it will go Tama, that is a superlative degree, that is go again and again, much lower and lower birth they will take. Mam aprapya, they do not attain me. Tato yantya dhamam gatim. Adhamam gatim, that is they fall into lower and lower birth, and they will not attain me or reach me immediately. For example, in the next birth, they may take birth as a cruel animal, which kills others for its food, like that, a cruel animal. Then after that, a much lesser animal. Then an insect. Then after that, they may get a birth as a tree or a grass. Then from there, once again, they have to repeat and they have to reach the higher birth, which is the human birth. So that is the Papa, because of their sin, they get such repeated births in their lower yonis, or what Bhagavan says as the Asuri yonis. They cannot attain Bhagavan immediately. So just imagine how much time they have to waste by being of this Rajasic and Tamasic nature in this birth. So that's what Bhagavan is telling. Even if a person has Rajasic or Tamasic nature, we can improve it to Sattvic nature. And in the next shloka, shloka 21, Bhagavan Sri Krishna says, Trividham naragasyedam dwaram nashanamapmanah kamakrodastadha lobas tasmadedatrayam tyajet. Bhagavan is telling that there are three gates for hell. That is, there are three ways, or by the three gunas, a person does papa or sin. What are that three gates, or what three gunas? Kama, Krodha, Lobha. There is Kama means desire, Krodha means anger, and Lobha means greediness. But we all have this, but in a very below the saturation point, maybe. We all have desires, but it must be dharmic desires. Even to write this bhashya for Bhagavad Gita, Sri Adi Shankaracharya must had a desire, but that was a dharmic desire. Without a desire, he cannot write this Bhashya so beautifully. Without that Bhashya, it is very difficult for us to understand this harsh words of this Slokas, very meaningful words. So he must have had some desire, but that desire we cannot say as karma. It is of dharmic desire. And like this, we can have dharmic desires to help others or to do service to others. That is also desire, but there are dharmic desires. But some people, they have desires. And if they are not satisfied, they just go insane. They cannot bear that failure. That should be avoided. Even we may have desires, but if it is not satisfied, we must have a balanced mind to accept it with maturity. Many people do not have that, and in that failure, they cannot accept that failure, and in that only they become, they do more and more papa karmas. So having desire is okay, but it should be a dharmic desire, and we must have a balanced mind in it. Krodha also, sometimes we get angry. But if it go beyond a level, then that is papa. We have seen even some parents or teachers, they punish the children, innocent children, very harshly. That is papa. But just getting angry with a child to correct it, that is not papa. Even Yashodhama did all this to Bhagavan Krishna. That is not papa. But injuring the child, making the child emotionally weak by telling its weakness, or torturing the child physically or emotionally, either by the family or by the educational institutions, that is papa. So that people we have who have that cruel mind to insult or injure a young being, an innocent being, they will take repeated births in the Asuri yoni. That's what Bhagavan is telling. And that another thing is lobha, greediness. We may have greediness, but up to a level it's okay. But if it exceeds and disturb others for our benefit, either physically or emotionally, if we disturb others for our benefits, then that is papa. So such people, Bhagavan is telling, they go and they take repeated births in the Asuri Yoni, and each birth will be lower and lower, degrading and degrading. So they take a long time to reach Bhagavan. So these three are the gates. Trividham Naragas Edam. These three are the gates to hell. Dwaram Nasanam Atmanaha. These three gunas are destructive. They are Kama, Krodha, Tadha, Lobha. Tasmadeda Trayam Tyajet. Therefore, all should Tyajet we must separate ourselves from these three gunas. If we have these three gunas, we must learn to control it or balance it, or otherwise, we have to take the repeated birth in the Asuri Yoni. Yedad vimukta kaunteya tamodhvaraistribhirnaraha acharatyatmana shreyaha tado yati parangatim. A man who is liberated from these three gunas, that is, these are the gates of darkness. Because when we take a lower birth, definitely it's not a bright life, it's darkness. We will be compelled to do many sins because that is a dark life. So, a person who is liberated from these three gunas and practices that is a shreya, what is good, or practices the daiva values, that is the good values like satya, akrodha, shanti, then abhaya, like this. When we practice all these gunas, that is a shreya, and he goes to the parangadim. Definitely he goes to the parangadim. So these three gunas, whatever profession we may be, whatever ashrama we may be in, grahastha or vanaprastha or sannyasa whatever it may be, we have to control our mind by not indulging in these three gunas. We must not have all these three gunas. Even if we have, we must distance ourselves from it by worshipping Bhagavan or chanting mantras or whatever way it is possible for us, we have to control it. यशास्त्रविधिमुत्सृज्य वर्तते कामकारतः न स सिद्धिमवाप्नोति न सुखं न पराङ्गतिम्. So a person who keeps away from the Shastras, he may not be aware of all this. Because this was said in the Shastras only. Who else teaches us all this? The school or the educational institutions doesn't give importance for all this. They give only importance for scoring marks. So all these are said in the Shastras. So if we keep away from the Shastras, we may not be able to know all this. That's the importance of the Shastras. So what will they do without reading the scriptures or without listening to the scriptures, or what will they do? They just act according to their impulse of the mind, according to their desire. They may not know that this is right or wrong because they have not read it in the scriptures or they do not know it by any other way. So, what is good for them, they just proceed in it. They do not know what to do. They feel that this is right for this right time. If I want to succeed in business or if I want to get good marks or anything else, I have to do it because that's how the life goes on. They feel like that. So, kama karagaha, they just work, act under the impulse of desire because they have cast aside from the scriptures. So, what will happen to them? Nasa siddhi mavapnodi. They do not attain perfection, na sukham, nor happiness, na parangatim, nor the higher life or the supreme goal. So that is their end. They take repeated births in the Ashri Yoni and they have to spend a long time in that world of darkness. They will be again and again in the company of the Rajasic and Tamo nature, whatever birth it may be. So they have to repeat from the first time. Even after getting this human birth, if we do not use it in the right way, this will happen to them. Then the next sloka, that is the 24th sloka in this chapter. तस्मात् शास्त्रं प्रमाणन्ते कार्याकार्यव्यवस्थितौ ज्ञात्वा शास्त्रविधानोक्तं कर्म कर्तुमिहार्हसि. Therefore, Shastra is the pramana. Pramana means the authority. Shastra is the authority. By knowing it, jnatva, by knowing it, one should determine what to do and what not to do. So this one should determine. And understanding the scriptures, what is said in the scriptures, one has to follow in their life. Karma kartumiharhasi, they have to do what is said in the scriptures and follow the scriptures in this life. So these are the powerful words of Bhagavan Sri Krishna, the last shloka of chapter 16. So this chapter began with explaining the Daiva Sampad. Bhagavan Sri Krishna explained nearly 26 Daiva Sampad, that is the good values. And he explained about many Asuri Sampad, and he wanted everyone first to keep away from those gunas. He said about the Daiva Sampada, Satya, Makroda, Abhaya, Tyaga, Shanti, many values. And he said about some Asuri values like hypocrisy, arrogance, anger, harshness of behavior, Damba, Abhimana. And he wanted us to keep away from that. And he also said the people who follow the Asuri nature, they want name and fame. They just think that the Indriya Sukha, that is the sense gratification, is their main goal in life. They do not know about the higher life. They consider themselves as great, and they do not recognize, they do not or they are not aware of my presence in their body as well as in the other's body, and they ignore me, they hate me. They live only to enjoy the sense objects. They do not use this life for any other purpose. They spend this life with all this enjoy. They use this life only for sense gratification, and they do any type of papa karmas, any type of sin to enjoy the senses. They will not attain bhavan. And the three gunas, kama, krodha, lobha, that makes any person to do all the papa karmas, that is the sin, or that is the gateway for hell. So when once a person do many sins, then they cannot be relieved from it. Again and again, they feel doing many more sins. So because of their papa karmas, they take asuri birth. They are born in the asuri yoni. So by each birth, lower and lower birth only they will get. So they waste many lifetimes. Because of it, they will not attain me. So, how do one person come to know about all this? From the scriptures. One has to read the scriptures and understand it and lead life according to the scriptures. They have to perform actions based on it. And the Bhagavan Sri Krishna said that they have to follow the scriptures in this life and to lead the life according to it. So that's the end of this chapter. It has a 24 very meaningful shlokas. And the next chapter, chapter 17, is also the continuation of these values. Bhagavan Krishna explains more clearly about these values. So that's the end of this chapter, chapter 16 in Bhagavad Gita. Om Tat Sat Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita So Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Daivasura Sampad Vibhaga Yogo Nama Shodashodhyaya. In my next upload, I will continue with the next chapter in Bhagavad Gita. Yatra Yogeshwarah Krishnah Yatra Partho Dhanurdharah Tatra Shri Vijayor Bhuti Dhruvani Tirmatir Mama Om Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.